Ever wonder if you have that special ability to see beyond the surface like St. Pio? Many people struggle to trust their instincts, and it leaves them questioning their own judgment. As we journey through the ups and downs of life, having discernment is crucial. It's the ability to distinguish between right and wrong, truth and falsehood, and it's essential for making wise decisions. St. Pio exemplified this gift, and his life is a testament to the power of discernment. Throughout history, many saints and spiritual leaders have demonstrated this gift, and it's a quality that we can all aspire to develop. A quick note before we start. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee. It's simple. Just scan the QR code or visit the link in the description. Thank you for helping keep this content going. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with information, and it's easy to get caught up in the noise. But discernment allows us to cut through the clutter and focus on what truly matters. It's not just about making smart choices. It's about living a life that's grounded in truth and guided by the Holy Spirit. As we reflect on our own spiritual journeys, it's essential to recognize the importance of discernment. We need to be able to distinguish between the voice of God and the whispers of the enemy. We need to be able to identify the lies that the world tells us and stand firm in our faith. And we need to be able to trust our instincts, even when they go against the crowd. Discernment is the ability to see beyond the surface level. It's the capacity to understand intentions and motivations behind people's actions. It's the power to spot deception and manipulation, and to stand firm in the face of opposition. And it's a gift that St. Pio embodied in his daily life. At its core, discernment is about being able to distinguish between good and evil. It's about recognizing the subtle ways in which the enemy tries to deceive us and standing firm against his attacks. It's about being able to spot the wolves in sheep's clothing and to avoid their destructive influence. In our daily lives, discernment plays out in a multitude of ways. It's the voice that tells us to avoid a particular situation or person. It's the feeling that something isn't quite right. It's the intuition that guides us towards good and away from evil. St. Pio's life was marked by his extraordinary gift of discernment. From a young age, he demonstrated a deep understanding of the spiritual realm, and his ability to distinguish between good and evil was unparalleled. As he grew older, this gift only deepened, and he became known for his extraordinary wisdom and insight. One story that stands out is from his early years as a Capuchin friar. St. Pio was praying in the chapel when he was suddenly overcome with a sense of darkness and despair. He felt the presence of evil in the room, and he knew that he had to take action. Without hesitation, he began to pray fervently, calling on the power of the Holy Spirit to drive out the enemy. As he prayed, the atmosphere in the chapel began to shift, and the sense of darkness began to lift. It was a powerful demonstration of St. Pio's gift of discernment, and it set the tone for the rest of his life. One of the most remarkable stories about St. Pio's discernment is about a woman who came to him seeking guidance. She was torn between two men, and she didn't know which one to choose. St. Pio listened to her story, and then he began to pray. After a few moments of silence, he looked up and told her which man she should choose. He didn't explain how he knew. He simply told her that it was the will of God. And to everyone's amazement, the woman followed his advice, and she ended up in a happy and fulfilling marriage. It was just one of many examples of St. Pio's extraordinary gift of discernment. St. Pio's discernment wasn't just about making smart choices. It was about being able to see into the very heart of a person. He could spot deceit and manipulation from a mile away, and he wasn't afraid to call people out on their behavior. At the same time, he was incredibly compassionate and empathetic. He could see the good in people, even when they couldn't see it themselves. And he had a way of bringing out the best in those around him. Discernment can manifest in many different forms. Sometimes it's a gentle whisper in our ear, Other times it's a loud, clear voice. Sometimes it's a feeling in our gut. Other times it's a visual image. For St. Pio, discernment was often a combination of intuition and insight. He would receive visions and revelations from God, and he would use those to guide him in his decision-making. One of the most important things to recognize about discernment is that it's not just about getting information. It's about being able to interpret that information correctly. It's about being able to see beyond the surface level and understand the deeper realities at play. And that's where prayer and meditation come in. When we take the time to quiet our minds and focus on God, we open ourselves up to the gift of discernment. We become more attuned to the voice of the Holy Spirit, and we're better able to distinguish between good and evil. For St. Pio, prayer was a constant source of guidance and wisdom. He would spend hours in contemplation, seeking the face of God and asking for direction. And it was in those moments of quiet that he received the guidance he needed to navigate the complexities of life. One of the biggest challenges people face when it comes to discernment is being able to trust their instincts. We live in a world that tells us to rely on our rational minds, to analyze and diagnose every situation. But discernment requires us to listen to our hearts, to trust our intuition, and to follow our gut. St. Pio's response to this dilemma was simple. He told people to pray. He encouraged them to seek the guidance of the Holy Spirit, to quiet their minds, and to listen to the voice of God. And he promised that if they did, they would receive the wisdom and discernment they needed. As we reflect on our own lives, it's essential to recognize the importance of developing our own gift of discernment. We need to be able to trust our instincts, to listen to our hearts, and to follow our gut. We need to be able to distinguish between good and evil, and to stand firm in our faith. So what can we do to cultivate this gift? Firstly, we need to prioritize prayer and meditation in our daily lives. We need to create space for God to speak to us and to guide us in our decision-making. Secondly, we need to practice self-reflection and introspection. We need to take the time to examine our own motivations and desires and to ask ourselves the tough questions. Am I following my own agenda, or am I truly seeking the will of God? Finally, we need to surround ourselves with people who will encourage and support us in our spiritual journeys. We need to find community, to find accountability, and to find guidance. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on discernment? Have you ever had an experience where trusting your instincts or the Holy Spirit's guidance made all the difference? Share your story or insights in the comments below. We can all learn and grow from one another's journeys. If this content inspired you, consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with someone who might need encouragement today. Your support helps us continue to explore topics that deepen our faith and understanding. Until then, stay grounded in your faith and open to God's voice. God bless, and see you on the next one, perhaps tomorrow again. If you're looking to overcome depression and anxiety by strengthening your spirituality, I invite you to check out my ebook, Soulful Transformations, Bridging Faith and Mind for Lasting Wellness, available on Kindle. This book combines cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, with biblical wisdom to help you manage stress, tackle anxiety, and find lasting peace through faith. It's not just about mental health. It's about deepening your relationship with God and transforming your life in ways that inspire others. Check the description below for the link and take the first step toward a life of spiritual and emotional wellness.